welcome back. Let's see how this works out. So, I'm currently in the van, much more relaxed than I was last time I did this, heading over to the wash. I have the new diesel heater in the back. I've got some bracketry and some other things in here. So, tonight's goal is going to be to get the brackets fabricated for the new heater, because I am using a different format you'll see later on in the video, and I gotta get those. It should just be drilling a couple holes and seeing if I can manipulate what's there, and then from that you're gonna let me go. It's my right away. Thank you. Anyway, I'm gonna be doing that. Trying to get this thing mounted looking somewhat presentable. Ironically, I have an insurance inspection coming next week, so they have to come in and take photos of things. I'm like, I want this thing looking nice and ready to roll. So I'm gonna see how far I can get on it tonight. I should get pretty darn far because we have some Arctic blast thing coming, and I am fully thank you, nice car, for letting me out. We have some Arctic blast thing coming, and I am fully expecting that our temperatures are going to be down in the 20s. I don't understand people who sit in traffic and leave 2 or 3 car lengths of a car in front of them when you're completely stopped, especially when people are trying to pull out. There you go. So I'm going to have this mounted differently, have everything plumbed, have it looking really nice, looking permanent, and hopefully a little nicer looking solution than what I had before that's also up off the floor, so it's easier to clean under and easier to identify when there's something like a diesel leak. Caveat being, it's going to be a little harder when I have to take it apart to clean it, but from the lessons we've learned in the past week, hopefully we won't be having to clean it that much, because we burn Surrey diesel. They tend to be pretty good. Still haven't gotten rid of the tank of diesel that is there yet, so I'm going to be using the little plastic cell that comes with it, just temporarily, until I can get it cleaned out and kind of go from there. Well, as you hear, I got a customer in here, someone in Bay 2. Let me go take a look real fast, just make sure things are going all right. It's not been a terribly busy day today. It is what it is in the nature of this business. So, what I have here, 90 degree, well, it's an adjustable, but it's a 90 degree HVAC. I'm gonna try and see if I can make something permanent, screw to the front of the heater. I got a couple of these shelf brackets from Home Depot. I really like these. I actually, at home, by my hot tub, I have a bar that I made. I used these same brackets 10 years ago. They're pretty good. They're holding up all right. The diesel heater, when I talk about the fuel cell, this is what I'll be using. And I love that they put the hardware in the thing. You have to drill your own hole where you want it. That's gonna be fun. We'll set that aside, because I gotta figure out what I'm doing with this, how I'm gonna do this. A whole box of goodies here that I'm probably gonna drop on the floor. And our new friend. This is an 8 kilowatt diesel heater. The innards out of the other one. Well, it's the same exact innards, only this one's not broken. Although I hear something moving around inside, and I just don't like that. So let's open it up like we learned the other day. See what's rattling around. Oh yeah, that's the wedges they put in here, I guess, to space this away from the plastic. But we're not going to be in a vehicle, so I'm not too concerned about not having those. So this looks to be in okay kit. as they would say across the pond. Don't know why I'm suddenly using British English, but okay. So, now for the moment of truth. Measurements, yes, measurements have worked. So, the plan is to mount this on the wall sideways with off the brackets and have, this is the intake, have the exhaust here. I don't know what, I'm gonna face it this way, I think. And then mount on the other side. Let me get the little accessories kit out here. It's a good box. I'm saving that for Christmas. Here, Mom, have a diesel heater. Then mount this dude on the other side, which I'll have to do, you know, the flex pipe, so I can adjust it. Is it going to look amazing? No. Am I going to spray it with paint later on? I'm going to tell you I am. I'm not going to. Let's just be honest. It's not adding to the bottom line, and yeah. We have the remote control, which this is key for how I do my remote control here, because it'll actually be in a box with 2 switch bots up here, so I can remotely push on and off. It works. The control panel, which is, okay, there. Control panel, a little more basic than the one I have at home, although apparently this one still talks. Funny story, when I was trying to prime the one at home a few weeks ago when we put it in, I somehow had it speaking Russian, and I couldn't figure out how to get it to stop yelling at me in Russian whenever it would turn on. And I don't speak Russian, I'm in German, yeah, and I had it changed to German for a bit, which was kind of funny too, because I'm like, oh, I at least understand what the hell you're saying now. But the Russian thing, there were a lot of jokes. All right, so, wiring harness we have here is in 3 parts. We have the wiring harness. Why did they give me the extension? I'm not afraid to say this, I'm a man, but I'm going to consult the instructions because, oh, this one has a fuel filter. Oh, moving on up. I'm going to consult the instructions and find out why they are giving me a hookup for a temperature probe that this unit doesn't have and won't use. I think it's one of those cases where they give you the same wiring harness for all of them, and it's up to you to figure out what you need. It's cheaper for them to make them that way. But if you want an informative video of how to install one of these things when you know mostly what you're doing, but sometimes you're like, what in the hell's this? You've come to the right place. All right, so yeah, just to confirm, we got this is the one that plugs into the heater. This is the one that plugs into the control panel. Batteries, yeah, there shouldn't be anything else. So, the critical thing I was looking for in this box, because none of this is that important yet till we get the damn thing mounted to the wall, the mounting plate. Now, normally what you do is you sandwich this, if you're putting it in a car, you sandwich it between it's a backer plate for like the floor for whatever, you know, your vehicle you're putting in, and it mounts on the bottom of the heater here. I am using this thing in a unorthodox manner. Not really, but could be a little bit. So, God, I just love when things work the way that you want them to. I could not have made these holes in this thing any more exact for my needs. I have to remount one hole by like 1/8 of an inch, whatever that is for the folks who use the metric system. All right, I am back, and we don't have customers right now. The only time that I don't want customers, not that I don't want them, is when I'm trying to do stuff like this, because it makes it a little harder for you guys to hear. So, hopefully the focus on this is good, but make sure we have video here. I look at my watch a lot because I'm usually checking this. Yeah. So, kind of, this is a pain in the butt, needs to stay here, but we got the barrel of sin, aka the old oil, and the heater of sin, the heater of ill repute, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the fuel here and everything from it and the power. I'm reusing this power adapter. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the fuel line right here at the filter so I can get the drain back into this tank. Really rather not cut that. I'd rather not cut that, but I'm going to cut that. So, I'm not going to get rid of this heater. I am going to keep this heater and keep it for parts, at least I think for right now. At what point are you practical, and at what point are you suddenly a hoarder? And I don't have a ton of space here. I'm going to do this with a knife. Always cut away from the face, especially when you're cutting this, because you're going to fling fuel everywhere. I'm going to smell like a truck stop when I get home. I have hose cutters, but I don't want to get diesel on them. Okay. Final thing I need is a long flat screwdriver. So the other thing is, while I was gone pulling this bracket up, or making this little bracket real fast, the temperature has dropped to such a point that, where in the hell is that? There we go. Temperature's dropped, so we're now weeping. So you're going to hear potentially in the background water pulsing on and off. It's 35 out. Trying to moon the camera here. Now I'm going to reuse this exhaust pipe. It's perfectly fine. I just have to get it bent up to where I want it for the new heater. Take the opportunity to get rid of those. Get it bent up to where I want it for the new heater. I'm not going to reuse that. But the reason being is it's a pain in the butt where it's at in the wall to get to it. And I'd rather not have to deal with that. All right, disconnect this guy. And to reconnect the new hose. So let's just get old Stinky out of here. Whatever we're gonna call it. I don't even want to know. Oh, he who caused a fire department to have to come unnecessarily. Let's put this piece of crap over here. All right. Well, as I say that, it falls apart on me. Okay. Right about there is my happy spot. Of course, I didn't bring my level or my Sharpies. I swear I'm a professional. Purple Sharpie, you're the one. I may have another customer coming in here. Oh, I can make these things as straight as I want, but I have to tell you, as soon as I start drilling the holes, they're going to go wherever they want. That's just the way this works. Back in a minute. Okay. Now to drill the holes. This is the part where feel free to make fun of my technique. If you have suggestions, offer it. Masonry bit. This is an impact driver, and it's a crap bit that's burned up, so I'm probably going to switch to another one, but I only have 1 3/16 left. So, well, it's this one. So, yeah. Mask, though, because this is some nasty dust that comes out of these things. So, let me go ahead here and just get going. I am currently grabbing, well, apparently not grabbing that socket. Where the hell are my sockets? So, if you've never used a concrete screw or a concrete anchor, it's like a screw, or it's not like, it is a screw that's got certain shaped threads that will bite into concrete. And pull in. The problem with these I have found these red devil, blue devil, whatever the hell they're called, is they will snap off with no warning if you get heavy-handed with them. So I don't tend to use anything power to put them in. It just doesn't work. So, but I also have clearance issues with these stupid brackets. I remember this from home. Well, we might get creative here. Let's just see. Again, we cosplay as professionals on this channel. Did I mention the edges of these brackets, though, are not polished in any way when you buy them at Home Depot, so they're sharp. You know what's not sharp? When you, I was like, wait a second, did I drill that hole like an inch off? Like, I'm not sharp, I drilled the hole wrong, but I didn't. This setup moves. I'm doing everything with just 2 screws for now, until I see if I like it, then I'll come back and screw it. And that one I actually will do, because I want to make sure that this has enough clearance, vibrates. There's a pipe here which sweats that I want to make sure isn't sweating into my heater. Little things like that. And this is a note for me because I'm gonna make this into a montage, but add something to the calendar to fix the 1-inch pipe, or excuse me, 2-inch pipe at the back of the wash. Right, you know, it's doing that thing where they start to bind up. I have, what is that? It's not 5/16, is that? Hell, maybe I got the wrong thing. I'm actually going to invert and have the output coming out this side because I wanted it in line with the working area of the room. That's okay, I can move the exhaust over. There's plenty of room. There's actually a little too much pipe, but we'll deal with that. So what I'm gonna do now is I need to get some blocking, and I have some 2x4s I'm gonna cut up here. I need to put a block on the wall with the diesel tank and the little pump mounted on it. So when I come back here, I'm gonna be back over at the workbench and kind of show what I'm doing there. While I'm cleaning up my mess here, because I shouldn't need to drill any, yeah, I will need to drill some, but that's fine. So, it's getting chilly in here. It'd be nice to have heat. So what I have to do is I have to create a block on the wall. Let's put that in there. I'll clean this up later on. Save time for now. That. You go in there. Okay. So we got our power supply. We got our drill bits. My collection of worn out and abused drill bits that still get called into service faithfully. All right. That's for the fuel pipe. Good. And this guy. Okay. So, make sure I'm still in frame. I am. Alrighty. So, next up, we have our fuel tank. So, these fuel tanks, as they come, I didn't go there. They have these dimples in them. And those dimples, they're not drilled all the way through, but they're transparent. They're so thin. Like, I could probably crack it through with my fingernail. I'm not intending to use this tank permanently. I just need to use it for the next week or two until I can get my, until I can get things sorted with the other diesel tank. So, what I'm gonna do, first things first, I have to drill a hole here. I've got this piece of wood that I'm embarrassingly going to cut with a multi-tool in a minute because I just don't feel like getting a circular saw out. And I'm going to mount it on the wall, and I'm going to do... Oh, okay, I can do that. Sorry, I'm thinking in my head here. I'm going to mount this on the wall. Essentially, it's going to be... It'll be screwed into the wall. The tank is going to sit on it. The fuel pump's going to be below it, so I only need... Where's my purple Sharpie? Oh, it's back there. All right, where's some... Yeah, bright yellow. Why in the heck? Useless. Really useless. Okay. So let's do this real fast. Okay. Call you into service. Hello, friend. Okay. Man, that board is rough. I don't need it that far, so we'll do... Get off there. Go in there. I'm going to cut this bad boy about there. Very straight line. I have a square around here somewhere. I will use it. Probably just off camera because I don't need you guys laughing at me while I use a multi-tool to do something that there are better tools for. Okay. I may not have a square, but I will gladly use a level. It's a straight edge, or at least it was until I dropped it. So now it, well, it identifies as straight edge, but it is not a straight edge, but that's okay. You know, and I don't care if this is visible or not. It won't be. Multi-tool. Of course, there's no blade in the multi-tool. And I'm going to do this over a bucket. Yeah. Oh. Oh, it's like Christmas. Who wants an angle grinder? No judgment. That's how we get things done efficiently. That's how the fire department gets called. But we are not going to talk about that. Okay. So I got the hole for the fuel tank here. So the fuel tank, I have got to put the all the fittings on. Now, the question I have is, did they give a wire? Ooh, my hands are so vibrant in that thing. Bolts and washers. No side installation. Fix the fuel tank nozzle with iron wire and thread it into the punching position along the fuel tank. Alexa, what is 7.5 millimeters to inches?
7.5 millimeters is about 0.295 inches.
Okay. Looks like I've got a customer in Bay 4. All right. Well, so I don't have an iron wire, but I've got many other materials of wire. I probably have an iron wire, but they refer to it as iron. What size diameter is that thing? Haha, we have tools and we have intelligence. Let's do this. Where are my mics? Because I'm not sure what drill bit I really want to use on this, because I want it to be a really tight fit. Well, let's get a quarter and see what happens. Hey, what do you know? I got a 1/4-inch drill bit right here. It's amazing how these things just work out. Not the right material, however, I doubt this thing is going to really care. You know what helps? Tools work really well when you put a battery in them. I swear I'm not nuts. Oakley dokley. So we have to assemble this thing before we put it in there. So we got to put an O-ring on this side. And now I'm going to put this dude through the back here, tie a couple knots, make sure it doesn't slip through, and then we're going to go on a fishing expedition. Ow, you bastard. Haha, all right. Round 2. Oh, nice. More customers. Always a good thing. How the heck? Help me pay for all this crap. Now, let's get a deep well socket. I think you look like you're... Is that you? Yes, it is. Hello, friend. Oh, I figured out what the other connector was on this. It's for the fuel pump. I should have... Yeah. So here's your fuel pump, by the way. The little clicky pump. And it just goes in this rubber mount. And the reason they put it in this rubber mount is because these things make a ticking noise when they're running that will drive you up the wall if you let it. I am perfectly fine with it only having one. Boy, which one of you is chirping? Oh, it's you. Oh boy. All right, well. Well, Bay 3 sounds like it's having some distress, so I got a belt I have to fix after this. Pardon me for the delay here. I have grease on my hand that I don't want to get all over this. So it looks like Bay 3. I'm going to have to pull that pump off and possibly change that belt. All right, so just a little quick before I get going on it. So what I have here, the pump is mounted or not the pump, the tank is loosely mounted. I gotta unscrew it when I put it over there, so I'm not gonna do it tightly. Got the bung coming out of the bottom of it here. I have the fuel pump mounted with the outlet up, approximately 45-degree angle. I try to match it here, you know, it's close enough. I'm gonna be running a fuel line from here to here with a small filter in line, and then I'm going to have coming out from here the fuel output hose going to the bottom of the heater. Believe it or not, I have pretty much everything we're going to need here to mount this bad boy. I'm going to attempt to not moon everybody. I will blur out my crack if you see it. That way someday I have a chance of being monetized. All right, so this screws on here with these really kind of chintzy 10 millimeters. This is an air filter. This is not the air that it's heating. This is the air that the whatchamacallit is breathing in. And it does need a hose clamp. No, I gotta get one for it. It came with them. Needs it on one end. But, so essentially, this is what it uses to burn some things in there, but not everything, because it actually injects air through like what they call a swirl port to generate the flame. Here we go. To generate the flame inside the burn chamber. But this is the initial igniting one. Okay. Let me get on some gloves. The wrap they give you is fiberglass. And if you know anything about fiberglass, you do not touch it with your bare hands. Otherwise, it will make you very sorry. And by sorry, I mean you will itch for days. Now, fortunately, they actually gave a sufficient amount of wrap. Okay. Sweet. Now the only thing left is the fuel line. Now, I do not like this fuel line that they give. It isn't that good. And I do feel that it's of poor enough quality that it shouldn't be used for long term. And I am deducing this from the fact that what I had used on the heater last year was junk this year. It had turned hard. It might as well have been pipe. Here's what we have. Power adapter up here. I have used construction adhesive to put the little dock for the remote on the wall. It's going to be powered right here, power supply. This is the wire running down over underneath. Everything is loomed. Oh, let me get in there. Everything is loomed. We see the fuel. I had to get rid of the stupid fuel filter. It kinked already. Told you that line's cheap. Here we go. Fuel is separated from everything. Exhaust is wrapped. I'm going to head and get some diesel. Come back here, fill the tank, and we're going to see how things go. All right, friends, we are doing this together. So, heater is installed. The wires are loomed. the fuel cell is mounted, I've got it full of fuel. That's off-road diesel. Never done vertical with Final Cut Pro, so we'll see how this works. So essentially, I'm not going to be able to put the remote on the wall yet because this is still tacky, but I am going to connect the power. When I connect the power, this thing will come live. Now, the first time these come live, typically, they will automatically enter priming mode. All right, so 12 volts. Let me let that hang there. I'm gonna grab the instructions because I wanna make sure this primes properly. That way we're not standing here with a click, 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 click constantly. So, what am I supposed to do to temperature, manual oil pump? Long press the left button for 3 seconds. All right, so 1, 2, 3. All right. Now this tap, 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 tap that's happening. Get you closer down here. So what we're looking for is red fuel to start coming through that line. And I can see it starting to go a little bit. I don't see any leaks yet. Oh, there it is. You can kind of see it at the top, getting ready to go in. Now, once that reaches without air, the bottom of the pump here, or bottom of the heater, I need to stop that. Otherwise, it will be a smoky mess. So we'll watch it come up here. It won't take too long. There we are. All right, let's go ahead and stop that. And we will turn this thing on. All right. Fan just kicked on. Watching for any leaks. Okay. Now we hear the click. We have ignition. While this is doing its thing here, let's go take a quick look. So I do see a little smoke, or not. Oh, this baby gets going fast. So that rumbling is normal, and that's the heater. That's when it's first doing its thing here. And we've got some smoke coming off the wrap down here. Completely normal. It's going to do that for a little while. All right, so that's that. So my next steps are to get rid of the diesel that's in the tank and plumb this with fresh, or fill it with fresh diesel, the tank, and get it plumbed up then. I'll do a short video on that. It's just changing the hose out. But yeah, that's the install on these things. As you see, it's not terribly complex. Yes, I had some infrastructure already in place, but you know, a scratch install is not hard on these. I appreciate everyone watching. I know this is probably a long video. I'm gonna do a lot of jump cuts and I'll figure stuff out here. It's just, I'm gonna get this wrapped up here in a few. I'm not gonna run it tonight. I'm not running it while I'm not here for the first day or so. But I'm gonna definitely go home, relax. I'll take a look at it later on. Talk to y'all later.